Hello.
Hello.
I'm Callum.
And call me Natalia Gorienko because I need some sugar, baby.
And that is Moldova's finest Nick. And this is That's Eurovision, baby. Yeah.
Not the toe press.
Me reaching around my toes to press the button because the sound mix is on the floor again.
That's talent.
That is talent. You know what?
That's Eurovision, baby.
I feel like that's really, as a media producer, that's what I've been preparing for this whole time.
You've achieved everything that you can in your medium with your hands.
Exactly.
It's time to expand
I've used
beyond.
these enough. It's now time to use the other limbs I have to make art. Anyway, if you're following us, if you've been following our journey,
if you haven't, you're not going to start now.
Yeah, you will.
Not with the toe press.
Yeah, you will. That'll get you in.
Yeah, watch our subscriber count go up to like 4 million now.
We
that they
haven't
know that
shown
we have
the
toes.
feet though. Yeah, because before they didn't think we had toes. So yes, we are coming to you with another semi-final prediction episode, but this time
We're both sick as fuck.
This time we're sick as fuck, and not in a no. Semi-final 2 is the notoriously difficult semi-final, and we've both been maybe putting it off a little bit because we've been scared of having to have this conversation. This is the semi-final with all of our favorites, basically. Some of which I think have been predicted to not make it.
Yeah.
Will we agree with the bookies in our predictions? You're gonna have to wait and see.
It may be a channel of Eurovision, but it also is a channel of peak delusion, which I think is what we're really going for.
Is that welcome to the Eurovision community?
Yeah, exactly.
Deluded people being like, "This is George's year."
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah. It could be.
Could be.
But yes, so coming into this semi-final, if you haven't already seen our semi-final 1 prediction video, it was the one that was probably much shorter than this one because it was a much easier final to, I think, do our best predictions for. But it is obviously on our channel, so please jump into that because today we will be exclusively discussing what our anticipated outcome is for all of the acts looking for qualification in semi-final 2.
So semi-final 2, 16 songs, so 6 songs will not qualify as opposed to 5 from semi-final 1. And our job is to sort through each one and determine where they're going to sit. Now, I'm going to snap my fingers and we're going to be transported to an overlay. So ready?
Are we doing it?
1, 2... Whoa. Okay, now you can see the board, and you can see we have 3 categories. Currently, everything is in the She's Borderline category. That is, we're not sure where it's gonna if it's gonna qualify or not. Everyone's gonna start there. We're then gonna go through each country, and we're gonna determine if Eritrea or Sosdiva.
Now, as we go along, there may be some of the countries that may remain in the borderline area, and that's because we need to have a more hearty and robust conversation.
Half of these countries are going to remain in this borderline area.
So, I guess to make things easy on ourselves, shall we potentially look at the ones that we're a bit more confident
100%. Who wants to start with, Nick?
So, Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah, Georgia,
starting
you're
off
through. Straight up. No. Let's start positively. Let's start with Finland.
Yeah.
She is the most left hand on the board, and she is the most right in the center.
So we'll be dragging her right up to here. I think in the bookies odds for qualification, she's at like 89% to qualify.
Which is basically a bookies legally can't put 100% on anything, and it's their way of just making sure that they only have to give away a cent for every dollar you bet. Not that we encourage gambling on this channel. No, sir.
Erica Vickman, Ikome, if you don't know. If you don't know, why are you at semi-final 2 qualifying video?
You've got some studying to do, my love.
She is notoriously Nick and I's number 1 this year. She may not be the winner pick for us, but she might be. You have to stay tuned for that. But I think we love her, and it's hard to see a path where the song doesn't qualify because it's perfect.
And because, look, coming at you hot from the Eurovision news desk that I will be manning, just before we get into it, I would like to do a couple of shout-outs, specifically to Eurovoix, Eurovision World, Wee Blogs, and EurovisionFun.com, where I've got a lot of my insights.
He's been doing his journalism.
I've been doing my due diligence. And look, for the news on Finland, there's not really
the news on Finland? Slay.
Yeah, the news on Finland is just basically is serving what Malta was serving a few weeks before the EBU intervened.
Yeah.
And basically, if you haven't seen her national final performance, I would definitely recommend it because it is absolutely fantastic.
And if it's anything like that, but even more so, we're in for an absolute treat.
Exactly. So basically, the entire news coming out of the Finnish camp is that no major changes have actually been forced by the EUBU. They've asked her politely to make it a little bit less sexy.
Yeah.
But to be fair, when you're a white hot sex magnet like Erica Vickman, what can you do? It's Erica's world. We're just living in it.
And she is 100% through to the grand final.
Yeah.
Mark our words. Yeah. I'm putting money. If you're going to put money on one act this semi-final to make it through, put it on Finland.
Oh, yeah. So no major changes from the national final performance, which was excellent. There will be a small outfit change, and apparently they're going to be jazzing up the first couple of seconds so that it's not a static start. But look, it will be statically staying firmly at the top of our "You're Through."
Finland's with Sweden to me in terms of national final performances that were grand final ready.
Yeah.
So nothing's changing there.
Exactly. So congratulations, Finland.
Yeah, congrats, Finland.
You're
Snaps
through.
For you, Erica.
You're through.
Okay, next on my completely random ordered flag list, because we'll just go right to left. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Left to right.
Left to right.
The other one.
Do not know my left from right.
That's all right.
We're talking Denmark. Sisal, Hallucination. I think if Finland is our combined favourite, I want to say Denmark's got to be our sentimental favourite.
Yeah, because
how can you not love Sisal?
Exactly. If I feel like I'm just going to be referring a lot to things that we've seen and that I hope that you've seen as well. But if you haven't followed Sisal on any socials,
do it.
Again, I would violently recommend, because if Miriana Conte, I feel like is winning the socials game for this year, but I feel like her and Sisal are going toe for toe in the social love arena because she is absolutely fantastic. And girl can sing.
Yes. So, however, it's a slightly different story when talking about qualification chances. So Denmark notoriously on a 4-year non-qualification streak. Denmark has not qualified in the 2020s.
Yeah.
So is Sisal going to break the curse, Nick?
I think so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say...
I'm going to drag up to this little borderline. So guys, if you don't know, if you didn't watch the first episode, we're treating this whole board as a bit of a gradient.
Yeah.
So we drag it up to this borderline zone. It means that it's we think it could qualify.
Because basically what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to find our concrete qualifiers. And then we're going to have to fill up the rest of the 10 with some others.
We're not leaving until we have concrete qualifiers and non-qualifiers. Unfortunately, Denmark's track record, if you watch Sisal in the national final, you know that there was no staging.
Yeah.
She is fighting a bit of a losing battle in terms of the Danish delegation seems to not really
They're just there for the vibes.
Much.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, Sisal, she could do everything in her power to produce an amazing song. It still may not qualify. Yeah. However, and I'm saying this as Saba's biggest fan from last year, I do think Sisal is Denmark's greatest shot at qualifying this decade.
Oh, yeah.
It makes me sad, though, just keep her in the borderlands for the time being. But I think we have to. There's too many songs for us to make a concrete decision just yet.
So some things that have been coming out of the Danish camp, however, have been, to me, very positive. So some information that we've seen coming out. The song is being slightly reworked for the first 10 seconds, and that will apparently have a supporting visual show, which already, to me, sounds like we're doing something more than we were doing at the national final. I think
Sisal is determined to make sure that she's the first Danish qualifier.
Yeah.
I feel the passion in her, and I think that as a whole, if she can get the package right, we're good to go.
So what we've heard about the package as well is apparently there's going to be lots of color changing. So there's going to be apparently the dress changes color. There's reveals.
Don't
the whole
spoil
staging is going to be changing color.
I want to sit in my ignorance and be gagged on the day, but. Yeah. Your gauge is telling me, though, the news coming out of the Danish camp is positive. So
I don't anticipate that we will get to the end of this episode and that Sisal will be sitting in the spot that she's sitting, mainly because we have to put them all everywhere.
We'll have to wait and see.
For now, she's borderline. Speaking of borderline, what is not Georgia?
He's back of the shit.
Yeah, I'm on the shit segues. Look, pretty much like all of the conversation that we've seen coming out about Mariam Shengelia with her song Freedom. Basically, everything is just about who she is as a person and not about her performance.
I don't think we even have to listen to all of the journalism this time. I think we...
but hot off the press, there might be some dances.
Okay. This song's not qualifying. I think if you're gonna put your money on Finland qualifying, put your money on Georgia not qualifying, because unfortunately this song has no support behind it.
Yeah.
It's fumbled the bag. And I feel like Georgia came off like a 2-year streak of sending some promising songs.
Like really good quality entries.
Very disappointing to see how the mighty have fallen. I don't think there's much more to say about Georgia, though.
No.
I think they are our first lock on the SOS Diva category.
Yeah.
And I do not see that changing.
No, so unfortunately, Mariam Shengelia with Freedom and Georgia's entry this year, you are going to get our first SOS Diva of the night, but I don't anticipate we'll be seeing you on grand final evening.
Shall we move on to Greece?
From G to G.
G to G.
G to G.
Gina G.
Gina G.
Ooh, just a little bit. Ooh, a little bit extra.
A little bit extra, but that's also exactly where I think I'd probably like to put Greece. I'm going to say you're through,
I'm going to put it like
but
a
I'm going to say just a little bit.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I think that Greece has a lot of fans, and I understand why. I think we've discussed it in full in our How to Win Eurovision series, where we talked about all the countries and what they need to do to win. Go watch it if you haven't already. We spoke about the fact that Greece's staging has not impressed us and is not winning staging, but the quality of that song is fan-bloody-tastic.
It is a beautiful song. And some positive news out of the Greek camp is
she's going to move.
She's going to, and you heard this here first, unless you read it somewhere else, in which case you definitely heard it there first. Everything has changed. It's going to be more dynamic. It's going to be more dramatic, which to me tells me that she is moving. She's taken on a bit of a mentor in Helena Paparizou, notorious mover.
Yep.
So if you're taking on that as your mentorship, I'd imagine that she will be. She'll be there.
Claudia hasn't been at any of the national final performances, so we don't really even have much of a gauge on what to expect from her. But again, this song, by all intents and purposes, I don't see it on a borderline. I think it is qualifying.
The only thing that makes me feel a little bit nervous for this song's qualification is probably that we haven't really seen very much of her at any of the pre-party events or or much of the social content or anything like that. It's really been quite.
She's a bit of a question mark. She's a bit like Cyprus in semi-final 1, where it's like there's good news coming out of the camp. You hope it's going to be good, but you don't really have a lot to go off.
Because as much as there's something to be said for all of the countries. Obviously, there are the people that watch Eurovision more casually and just rock up for the day, which is fantastic. And then you have the very dedicated audience that are there for all the pre-parties and that sort of stuff. But I think that probably the power that's underestimated is the people that are the super Eurovision fans are probably friends with a lot of the people that watch Eurovision more casually.
Yeah, they're inviting you over to watch it with them.
And what you want to do is you want to make those super fans fall in love with you, so that when the casual fans come a knocking, the person that they're talking to is like Greece.
So you're saying that Claudia's maybe lack of ability to join the pre-party circuit has let maybe some of that goodwill slip?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, it's more that she hasn't built that same dedication as. So if I were a super fan and I was choosing between Greece and Denmark, for example, I would probably be now leaning more towards Denmark, just because I've had the ability to get to know Sissal. I've had the ability to get to see her sing in person and also live in recordings. I've just had a lot more time that I've gotten to spend with her, which means that I'm probably more, I guess, a bit biased to her on the day. And if I'm picking up the phone and spending my...
then why is Sissal borderline and Greece not?
Because I think that general sentiment in the wider community still favours...
I think production of a song is going to trump how much you like a person.
Yeah.
So I do understand what you're saying, though, and I think it's a very good point. I think Sissal, Miriana, Erica even... Yeah. Gojo, a lot of people in the semi-final have been doing very good at the Miss Congeniality circuit.
Exactly.
But yeah, Greece is we think
through.
You're thrilled.
Yeah, congratulations, Claudia, with Astero Mara for Greece. You are thrilled.
Yeah, and so look, another lock. It's going to qualify. It's going to have a massive televote score. Israel, you are also through.
Yeah, lots of blue and white.
Lots of blue and white. Yeah. Okay, Czechia.
We'll jump over to Czechia. So obviously we have Adonis with Kiss Kiss Goodbye. Look, put her up there.
She's going up there.
She's qualifying.
This song has grown on me so much.
Yeah, and is in a lot of...
I'm really liking this song.
Yeah, is in a lot of people's conversations as well to win.
Yes.
I don't know if I agree with that so much.
So it's been going up the bookies' favour. I think... Look, I don't know if it's in winning contention in my head. However, I do think that this song has... I don't know. It's a bit only getting better the more I listen to it. And I think if he polishes the song to the point where on that Eurovision stage, it's the best version of itself.
Yeah.
I think this could be Czechia's best result in Well, Vesna came ninth, so that's a really good... But I think it could do better than Vesna in 2023. It could even beat... what's his name? Mikolas Joseph. Yeah, I think he came like 6th or something.
Yeah.
I think Czechia's on path to get one of their best results to date. Yep. In order to get the best results to date, you got to qualify.
Yeah.
You're qualifying.
Exactly.
Any news out of the camp?
So
At the camp.
So the staging team that are running Czechia this year are the same people that have been doing it for the last 4 years, and they are, forgive my French, fucking fantastic.
Wow.
Because like they're the same people that have given us Pedestal. Yeah. The same people that have given us My Sister's Crown.
I want to pause right now. I want to give my flowers to Aiko 2024's her staging a Pedestal in Malmö. I genuinely think should have saved the song. Yeah. Because that was some of the best staging.
It was incredibly cool.
Absolutely. Like nothing but respect to Aiko. I know she didn't qualify, but absolutely fantastic.
But with that being said, at least we know that the people that are in charge of Adonis' performance, I trust them with my life. And the giant
ponytails of Vesna? Okay. We're in good hands.
I feel like
we're in good hands.
I feel like there's a lot of conversation around like Sergio and some of the other stages for
some of the more established ones or Sergio Hayen, yes.
Yeah, but I will say that like Czechia has been putting out absolute performance after performance for the last few years.
My words, I think we're going to Prague in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Moving on though, Adonis, you're through.
Yeah, congratulations, Adonis. You're through.
Nick, how do you feel about Emmy and Like a Party from Ireland?
I'm willing to have this conversation. I don't think she's making it.
I am not willing to let her leave borderline just yet.
I think so. This is one that we're probably going to have a bit more of a robust conversation
we will
around.
Have a chat. Okay,
so maybe let's start saving our chats on some of these borderline countries for a little bit later.
I will just quickly say I think that Ireland, everything they produce, sadly gives me less confidence that's going to go through.
Every time I see this song performed, I'm less and less confident that we're going to be seeing it in the grand final.
There's a lack of... Look, I think the song's charming, but I think there's a bit of a lack of quality and substance, and I feel like Ireland really flopping the bag, not keeping Sergio on with the staging. Like one of the weirdest moves that they didn't have him on speed dial. Like immediately for whoever won. Like whoever won for Ireland. Yeah, he's the first one.
After Bambi's performance, the fact that like
the Bambi took banner counter, it's back.
The Bambi counter is back, but like the fact that you did not immediately
you booked him. Yeah. The day after Eurovision 2024.
You booked him the day after you saw what he was bringing to rehearsals before anyone else saw it. I'd be like, hey, babe, actually, gonna need you to have a non-compete clause because you aren't going anywhere. But that's their choice.
And they're not leaving the border just yet. I think there's another one we're about to talk about, and that is Serbia, Princess Mila. I instinctively... want to say it's not qualifying.
I'm willing to put this at the very bottom of the borderline until we have a bit more of a conversation around it.
We need to have more of a conversation. The key thing is that I think there's a conversation around him being different enough in a male ballad this year that it could qualify. He seems to be rising in the odds of qualifying.
Again, like as we said previously, like mans can sing.
He seems to have redone a bit of his image. I saw on Twitter, and maybe you can confirm in your journalistic investigations, Latoya Jackson with the magnifying glass.
Very that.
He seems to have taken on board our feedback on how to win Eurovision and updated his wardrobe and gone a bit more modern and things. So you're welcome, Prince.
Yeah.
So potentially, look, I'm not willing to write this out. I think it was based on my taste alone. I'd be not qualifying it, but it seems like I have to keep this in the borderline for the time being.
I would agree. I'll bring some hot Eurovision news on that one a little bit later.
Okay. Montenegro.
So let's...
Nina Zizic.
Yeah.
Dobrodošli. Oh, it actually breaks my heart to do this.
It breaks my heart to do this, but unfortunately, I just don't see...
I'm going to put her here, though, just so she feels...
Because, I don't know, maybe we'll change our mind in a little bit, but look, realistically, everything that I've seen...
I'm rooting for her. I don't know if I'm rooting for the song. It's not my genre. I think it's in a death slot.
Yeah.
I think that I'm not instantly confident that her staging is going to wow people. And I think
the people doing her staging are the same people that did the national final staging.
I don't know what that means. I didn't really watch all of that in the Montenegro national final.
It was bland.
Sure. My hope is there's a bit more budget when you have to focus on one person and not 10 people.
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately, the song suffers from Balkan ballads, beloved in the Eurovision bubble. Maybe not so beloved in the more sort of tunes into Eurovision just for the semifinals and finals and votes.
Yeah, and because I will say we've seen, I guess, quite an evolution away from the Balkan ballad in the last couple of years, and I think that we've seen that quite heartily rewarded in a lot of cases with qualifications and with high-ranking finals performances.
Yeah.
So I think there is a little bit of a move this year to sort of like re-Balkanify the ballad. And
I think Serbia is probably going to benefit from the renewed Balkan ballad, and I think Montenegro is not.
I agree. My issue with that is that I would argue that Montenegro's is better. But
I completely agree.
Yeah, but I think just the sentiment of like having like a standout male performer in a very like I guess female heavy final.
It's sad. It's sad. It's. I think Montenegro is going to be a hard loss.
Yeah. But I would say that Montenegro is probably one of my ones where, like, A, if it qualified, I'd be absolutely stoked. But B, I think it could be one of those surprising ones because I think that we always see something very similar.
There's always a slip.
Well, there's always an Albanian one that seems to get through to the final. That sort of like follows its
this
own
energy.
vein. Yeah. But shall we move on to the next one? We've got Lithuania. We've got Catharsis with Tavo Akis.
Anything that would sway me from immediately putting it here, I'm going to put it in the low qualifying. I think this song has huge fans.
Yeah.
I think this song is pretty safely qualifying. However, I think that if it's your first time listening to this song, maybe it's more challenging than, you know.
I think the people that have... So I think the issue with this one is that because the Lithuanian fans, or sorry, the fans of this song are very loud, they seem like there's probably a large...
Spain.
Yeah, they seem like there's probably a larger number of them than there are.
I would agree.
I do think that this song is fantastic.
Yeah.
I do think that it's qualifying.
I think it's qualifying.
I think it will qualify. I will say in all of my investigative research, I found literally nothing.
Oh.
Like...
They seem lovely.
They seem
They've been at
the
the pre-parties.
Yeah.
So they've been doing their due diligence too. I think we said it before in the Halloween Eurovision series, but this song has enough distinctiveness to separate from the others.
I agree.
I think this song's only risk is that it's it lands like a Marmite and people really don't like it.
Yeah.
However, based on all the information I have and how many times we've heard the song, responses, bookies odds, I think that it's still a you're through. So congratulations, Lithuania. You're through. Moving on.
Yeah, I don't really see anything that'll change that.
No.
Oh, let's not waste our time, shall we? Just move it up. Just move it up. Yeah.
Let's not waste our time on wasted love.
Yeah. Like, we will not waste our love and we will not waste our time. There is no point sitting here and equivocating.
I would say this and Finland are the two that you're fine with.
I think that this song is fantastic. I think JJ is fantastic. I'm so excited to see how it comes to life on the stage. Everything that I've heard is that they're basically going to be like replicating the music video.
They've got Sergio Hayen, so that's a big tick.
They are doing...
I'm very excited for the staging. Let's just say that. It sounds like it's going to be quite mind-blowing.
They are doing never-before-seen camera angles at Eurovision, which apparently is noteworthy, but that's fine.
They're full colonoscopy camera.
Yeah, so they're actually... First Eurovision Fest, they're filming from the inside.
Shot, it's JJ's colon.
Yeah. Oh, love.
You can see his throat moving as he does the opera.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Oh, we love your staging, JJ.
Yeah, that's going to be so beautiful. I've always been saying more colons on Eurovision. But in reality, outside of the colon, the water's coming, the rain's coming.
Yeah, interesting to see how they're allowed to do that when it's obviously, as we've said, not allowed to use water and stuff.
So I will say he said that they're bringing those elements to the stage.
Okay.
So I'd imagine that there's probably a high potential of it being like a screen effect or something clever that they're trying to do.
I'm very excited for this song. Any other news that should get me more excited?
Never before seen camera angles. How is that not the hottest scoop that you've heard today?
Yeah, it feels a bit clickbaity to be fair.
What he's actually done. They've gone to Slovenia. They're going to tip him upside down.
Yep.
Never before seen at Eurovision.
The camera, but upside down.
The whole performance, camera upside down.
Well, no, that was Dizzy last year.
Shit.
Yeah. it's been done.
Well, so I guess, because I tell you what, I know that we'll be seeing it, and I know that we'll be seeing it twice, because Austria, JJ, Wasted Love.
No, you're so
congratulations. Air through.
Let's give ourselves another easy one. Malta. Mirjana Conti serving.
She's serving. Whatever she's serving it twice, and I'm telling you that now.
I'm so proud of Malta though. 2 years, more than 2 years, 3 years of not qualifying in a row.
Rough trot.
I think Mirjana's come through like a breath of fresh air, and I think has had so much coverage around her.
Yep.
Not always positive, but for us, we love the song. We love it. A lot of people calling the word a gimmick. I think that's a bit of a disservice to her vocals and her pop energy. I think this song is going to immediately appeal with people.
Oh, yeah.
I think this song's slightly underrated. I think that the televote is going to go nuts for this song.
Yeah. Because, all we've heard from Mirjana is that we're in for a good show.
And the gym balls are coming back.
And the gym balls are coming back. So essentially the concept is going to be the same as it was at the national final, but there will be some slight changes. One of the major concern pieces that's been floated out there, because obviously Mirjana and the team unfortunately forced to change the lyrics of the song and the name of the song to remove the reference to the most Maltese of acts. Singing, of course, because you can't get away without singing in Malta.
You definitely can't. Get away without singing.
You definitely can't avoid singing in Malta because it's very, very popular. But there has been some concerns floated around the fact that you can take the can't out of the song, but you can't take the can't out of people's hearts, and that the audience will be screaming to the point where there has been some concerns floated that they might be turning the audience microphones off during the performance.
Boo! Yeah. I hate that.
Yeah. Look, who knows? Maybe they'll do what they did last year and pipe in some cheering over the top of it instead.
Serving.
But look, they're going to have two opportunities to do it. Because I'm telling you, Malta, Mirjana Conti.
I'm moving her up even
serving.
Further. Yeah, that's a certainty.
Look, year through.
Yeah, year through. Let's move on to Luxembourg. Lorathon, La Poupée Mon Leçon.
If Ireland's staying where Ireland is, I'm not moving Luxembourg right now.
So yeah, this song has fans, which I'm like a little bit surprised by, I'm not going to lie. I guess it's just a genre that's not for us. It reminds me actually, and I would love to know if anyone else agrees, of like 80s Japanese city pop. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Like the type that you play on like a Dance Dance Revolution or something like that.
It's weirdly like that to me, which I didn't realize had such a wide appeal. Okay, can I give you a piece of breaking journalism?
I would love to hear
from the depths of Twitter. Some teacher posted...
She's an awful person, and she probably did crime.
So a teacher posted a board of the semifinal 2 songs and asked like their class... of kids, like young kids, like what they wanted to make it through, and they tallied up it as a percentage. And you would think that this song and Ireland, both very like, I would say quite junior pop.
Yeah.
Ireland got a very good score. This song, the lowest percentage of people who are interested in it of any of the 16.
Wow.
So if you're banking on the kid vote,
it doesn't even appeal to the kids.
I think Ireland would be stealing that.
Oh.
I'm not willing to move this out of borderline for that very reason. I know in the bookies odds it's meant to qualify. I just think that I don't have the information yet to feel confident about it.
So if you want some information from what we've seen coming out of the Luxembourgish camp, apparently everything is going to be much the same as it was in the national final.
That makes me feel so much worse.
But scaled up for the bigger stage. Is apparently what's being said by the team that's doing the staging.
With that.
Yeah, and then was also reading an interview that I think Eurovision World, sorry if I'm miscrediting, did with her, and basically she got approached by the people that wrote the song and were like, "Oh, we need a Luxembourgish woman to go and sing it. Will you do that?" Apparently, she said it doesn't feel natural for her to sing this song at all. It's not really a song that she normally would like sing, write, or is in her genre, and that every time she does it a little bit different because she's still trying to find her way with it, which doesn't exactly fill me with confidence.
How long ago was that though?
It would have been a couple of weeks back now, but
I don't know. Okay, I think in my head, I don't want to just follow like a quote. I feel like that's giving a little bit like, hey, we clipped this out of like, I trust that Laura Thorne does like the song and gets around it.
It's not that I don't think that she likes it. I think it's just not in her like vocal register in songs that she would sing for herself.
Well, look, I think that we need to give this one another pass. I'm not willing to NQ it because if I was to base it just on the bookies odds, it would be queuing right now. Oh, actually, I think it actually just dropped out, but that's a whole other thing. I think, but let's move on and we'll come back to it.
Yeah, we'll come back for you, Luxembourg.
Let's move on to...
I'll come back for you, baby.
Let's move on to Australia. Go, Joe, Milkshake Man.
Now.
Okay, we'll just put it up here.
Yeah. So, look.
I'm not going to put it as high, though.
No, I don't think it, like, for me, this is sort of similar to Lithuania, where I think it's like, I'm very firmly of the belief that this song is going to be qualifying. Very firmly of that belief. I don't think that it's going to be blowing everything out of the water. And I will say as well, Gojo has been violently secretive about anything that's happening with this song.
Really?
Extremely.
So funny because he's so active on like in the community. So it's odd to me that he doesn't. I like that though. That's exciting.
Yeah. So he's telling no one. The only thing that we really know about the song and the staging is that they'll be using the same stager as Ireland. Who?
Okay.
I mean, so. What we know about them is that they did the staging for Diablo and for Conchita.
El Diablo.
For El Diablo and Conchita Burst, Rise Like a Phoenix, which both sound very good on paper, but then they were also responsible for the non-qualifiers in Albina's TikTok, Benny Cristo's Umaga, which came last in its semi-final, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think
that was due to staging, though. I think that was due to song.
Exactly, but also did the staging for Iru, did the staging for Who the Hell is Edgar, which while qualifying and was an incredible
one
song,
of our favourites, bad staging.
Deeply let down by its staging. So it seems like they're probably more aligned with like a dramatic ballad.
Well, I think this guy's staging seems to not rely as much on things and a little bit more on just being like up there by yourself and screen effects.
Yeah, which I don't think would suit either of these songs. If you don't have
the milkshake van for the milkshake man,
how is he going to do the best that he milkshake can?
Exactly. I wake up screaming in the night asking myself that very question. Okay.
I know, I sleep next to you. It's been a real hard night terror, guys.
I think it's still qualifying.
I think so as well. I'm excited for this one. I think this is going to be a fantastic Australian entry.
It's still qualifying. It just doesn't go as high as like a Finland or a Malta.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one. Latvia. Tautumetis, Burman Laimi.
Now,
your favorite song of all time.
This is my number 2 of the year, but I live in reality. This is staying where it is for now.
I would agree.
It seems like
it's not resonating with our broader community in the way that maybe we would like it to, but because we got it straight away.
Exactly. I do see so much potential for this though. With a broader why can't I speak today?
I don't know.
A broader Eurovision audience who I think, as much as you can easily dismiss this by saying, "Oh, it's folk," like Eurovision, like casual watchers don't enjoy folk. I think it goes beyond that. They are just incredible artists.
So I think this is where and we'll do a second pass and discuss a bit more, but I think we can't deny that a well-produced song done impeccably tends to get support. I think this song benefits majorly from it's going to stand out like crazy. I think we've seen their performances vocally. They're going to be flawless. I think if they can nail really transformative staging, whilst I understand that it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, I think that and again, I'm gonna draw the comparison right now, where I think artists like Ireland and Luxembourg are producing
put another Bambi counter.
Yeah. Well, no, where Ireland as an Emmy.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, he's still in 2024. Whereas countries this year like Ireland and Luxembourg are qualifying with songs that I would say are not as quality, but very immediate and catchy.
Yeah.
I think that's where Latvia risks might not be as immediate, but I think if its quality can shine through, I feel like it can, but I agree with you, Nick. I don't feel comfortable enough moving it into a you're through just yet.
No.
We'll come back to it though.
Yeah, I agree. For now, let's move on to Armenia. We got Parg or ESC Gabe, depending on who you ask. We've got Parg with Survivor for Armenia.
Yes.
Now, this, for me,
I'm not moving it.
I'm willing to have that discussion.
Well, you got to move it.
I'm going to move it into SOS Diva.
Not yet.
Okay.
The reason, okay, I'll tell you why.
Actually,
no, I'll tell you why, because we need to give Parg his flowers. Yeah. We gave everyone else them, so I can give him a little bit of time.
No, because what I was going to say is, do we want to actually use this now as our time to start from the borderline and start equivocating?
I want to give Parg his flowers first, and then I will do that.
Okay.
So my thing with Parg is I think he benefits from being quite a different sound this semi-final. I think he benefits from maybe like people, like if people want energy and party, this song will probably appeal to them. Yeah, I don't know, it's hard. I think for him, he is very much at risk. But similar to like a Luxembourg or even a Serbia, there seems to be swells of support where it's like, watch them qualify, and then it seems to like go away again, like a tide. It goes in, it goes out. So I think it's one of those songs that could go either way. But I'm willing to move on because you may notice on this board right now something kind of crazy happened. So I believe that in semi-final 1, it was quite an easy decision. We were really stuck between, is it going to be Iceland or San Marino that qualifies?
Yeah.
And we ultimately chose Iceland. If you want to watch our full qualifiers list for semi-final 1, obviously go back and watch it. This time around, we have 6 songs still and only 2 slots available in that grand final. We're not leaving here until we've agreed. No. And there's some beloved songs on here.
Okay, so where I think I would like to start then maybe is I would like you to tell me right now, who is your least likely of these do you think to qualify?
Serbia.
I will agree with you. I think that Serbia, unfortunately, Prince with Mila, you are the first person to move into our SOS Diva. I just don't see there being enough of an engagement with this song on the night for it to stand out and to go through. I think if this was 2010, I absolutely think that we would be having a different conversation. But I think that this song, for me, I don't think it's going to cut it.
We still have 3 that can't qualify. Yeah. Okay, give me one and I'll see if I agree with you. Of these 5 left.
Armenia.
So you hate men.
I do hate men. You included.
I mean, yeah, of those, when I saw those 5 together, I thought that's probably the next most logical non-qualifier.
I think that, like, if I were to look at them, I reckon Parg is probably the one that's going to be the closest of the ones that, like, he's probably the one that I would say is the most likely to remain in She's Borderline.
If he doesn't vocally deliver, though, I just worry that, like, it's a DOA, like...
Yeah. And because the thing is, like, we've seen some of his performances. The national final performance was not... It was not vocally good. It just wasn't. And that's okay. Like, the staging was dynamic and engaging, but I think it needed some tweaks. We've seen him performing at some of the pre-parties, and the vocals are definitely better, but I just don't see this song engaging with a large enough audience to bring people along. Again, if Prince is a guaranteed qualifier in 2010, I think this song was a guaranteed qualifier in 2016.
I think where it becomes less certain is, again, I don't always trust the odds, but when Serbia is currently surging into a qualification position, I think to myself, is there something we're not seeing? What could happen? But I think just based on how it feels now, I just feel like Serbia and Armenia could both be left behind by better songs. But anyway, we have 4 left now. I just want to say, so we have Denmark, Ireland, Luxembourg, Latvia. I want to say we could pretty clearly choose our 2 favorites of those. Ireland and Luxembourg have both been in the qualifying bracket in a way that Denmark and Latvia have never been in that 10 qualifying bracket. However, I'm going to move one up to your 3 right now and let me know if you're aligned.
It's Denmark.
It's Denmark.
So it's no secret that we have a very shared passion for Sisal and Denmark.
For the Geels.
I think that what we saw at the national final performance was so impressive if you take out literally every single part of what we saw visually.
So vocally, it was impressive.
If you just listen to the song and the vocal performance, incredible. And I think that Denmark knows, or Christ, I hope they know, that they have got the package in their hands of an excellent performer, an excellent song that has broad appeal. They're not competing with Sweden this year for best, like, female pop,
like contemporary pop.
Exactly. Like, they're kind of standing on their own kind of leg with that. I really think that they have the opportunity to run with this. I know that what we've been hearing out of the Danish camp is it seems like they're actually going to be really trying this year.
And also, one of the things I want to bring up is Seasal is winning hearts all over Europe, not just with their social presence. Like, I go on Twitter and I see more and more people saying, this song's going to qualify. I go onto the internet and I see her pre-party performances and I'm going like, she is performing at a fantastic level.
And people in those rooms are on board with her.
They become instantly charmed. And this is the key thing about Eurovision that we need to consider more is for 90% of the audience, the first time they're going to hear any of these songs is in that semi-final. So we've got to not just ask ourselves, what about, I don't know, this song grew on me or this song took a bit of time but I got there. No, we have to ask, will one performance convert you? And I think of the 4 songs there, Denmark's feels the one that I trust the most because I genuinely believe in Seasal and her ability to make us love her and vote for her.
Yeah, I think that like Seasal is probably one of the strongest performers that we've seen.
One of the most charismatic we've seen this year. And I think that goes so far when it comes to especially a televote only semi-final.
Oh yeah.
Picking up the phone and being like, I like you.
I have confidence that the bookmakers do not, and that's okay because I'm happy to die on this hill.
I would like to enlighten you though. The bookmakers tend to have their odds set, and then we'd go into the rehearsals, and we start getting footage, and we start getting images and whatever, and the odds will, like nothing will stay the same.
Right now, it's all very intangible.
But there's some breaking news on my end. It's not even breaking. It's a fact. This year, our rehearsal footage is not being shared. So you will not be able to see what they're doing on the stage. Now, I kind of like it, but people are upset because they're so used to getting a sneak peek of what the song's going to look like staging-wise from the dress rehearsals and whatnot. News is that this year, God, you did your journalism? You didn't find that?
No, I searched every single country. I didn't search Eurovision in general.
So the news is that the Eurovision camp this year is not releasing rehearsal footage.
Wow.
Why that's important is that means that a lot of songs change in the bookies' favor based on what we see leaking out. Now, that's not to say we won't see footage leaking out in the next week.
I categorically guarantee you that someone with an iPhone is going to be there.
By the time this video is out, it's going to be less than a week until Eurovision, so there's probably going to be some stuff coming out. But just remember that, like, unlike previous years, I think we're going to have the least amount of trust in the bookies odds simply because you're not going to see that change happen based on what happens on the stage. So it's exciting, it's scary, but I think it all bodes well for Seasal.
Yeah.
Now, will you allow me to do something controversial?
I would love you to.
Yeah, brave. Ireland's not qualifying.
Yep.
Are you agreeing?
I'm agreeing. So there is nothing that I have seen from Emmy so far that gives me confidence that a qualification is imminent in her future.
Yeah.
If anything like what we have seen at the national final performance or at any of the pre-parties with this AI-generated visual stuff.
Oh, the astronauts.
Yeah. Is coming with her to Eurovision, it will be going home with her immediately after semi-final
vocally as well, like she doesn't have a lot of range and the song doesn't give her a lot of range. So I think what it's relying on is charm, which is so fine.
It's relying on catchiness.
It's super catchy and people love the song. Yeah. I'm not here to yuck your yum if this is your number one or whatever. Yeah. I think where I struggle with this song is when I think about what's going to come on stage. Okay, if I think about the song next to Denmark, for example, one of these songs to me sounds junior Eurovision and one sounds like pop. And I just feel like we're going to get to that final stage and we're going to have Emmy doing a little dance and not much else. And they're going to still be in the silver lame jumpsuits and the staging will not be elevated. And by the sounds of what you're saying, it's not really going to go much further.
Yeah, because to me, it sounds
I don't think that the public, again, the public who don't know these songs, don't know the journey, don't know the artists, are just going to be like, not this.
Yeah, it's a bit naff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would completely agree. It seems like the stager that we've got is very... the stager that Ireland have got for this performance as well is also someone who does very well with like dynamic ballads and does a lot
Scares me
with...
that Gojo if it's the same one.
Yeah, and does a lot with lighting and like background visuals. And yeah, again... If anything that we've seen at the Irish national performance or any of the pre-parties comes with her, she's not qualifying.
No.
If we get anything like we got for Who the Hell is Edgar, not qualifying.
Exactly. If we get Who the Hell is Edgar like staging for this song, it's not qualifying.
Because that,
absolutely
like
not.
The charisma and charm that Who the Hell is Edgar had that this song does not, I think is like valleys. If they give it the same treatment, they're not getting through.
Okay, Nick. I'm scared. So we're now down to Luxembourg or Latvia. One of these we're saying are qualifying. One of these are not. We have a lot of bias towards one. We don't love another. So look, do we want to fight for our bias or do we want to sacrifice one of our favorite songs of the year? I'm leaning towards if we like a song, we bat for it, we back it, we send it through. What are you saying?
I want you to tell me why Luxembourg isn't qualifying.
Similar reasons to Ireland. I think as a song, it sort of stays at a very specific note and doesn't really leave. I think staging wise, what we saw in the national final, if you were to compare Taltomatus in their beaded curtains with their Mystic Wonder and I'm a Doll Come to Life, one of them to me is on a different league. I'm trying to take my bias out of this as much as possible. Yep. I think song-wise, Luxembourg is more broadly appealing and more immediate. Okay? That's what I'll give Luxembourg.
Yep.
I think song only gets you so far. Package is that all-inclusive thing of staging, production, choices to do on stage. I think Latvia... I have more trust is going to pull out something more special, which is why I'd promote Latvia and just deal with the tomatoes of your bias, you like Latvia, because I just have more trust that it's going to present something very exciting.
But realistically, that's also why you come here and listen to us, is because you want to hear our opinions. So when I tell you that Latvia have announced that they will have very different staging and very different costuming to what they had at the national final.
That could be really good or really bad.
I completely agree, but it does give me pause to be nervous. Knowing, I guess there's a certainty in Luxembourg of knowing that they're going to be basically bringing a slightly bigger but ultimately the same package to Eurovision.
But it's a weak package.
Exactly. I think that that's a poor choice. I think that for me, I'm willing to commit.
Do we just... let's follow our hearts?
I'm willing to commit and put Latvia up, and I'll tell you why.
Yep. Okay.
Latvia has surprise potential. We don't know exactly what's going to be coming to Eurovision, but if it's anything like the package that we've already seen, I think that it will be successful.
Okay. Yeah, can I encourage people who might be going like, ooh, no, not Latvia. Watch the national final. Take your bias. Maybe you don't like folk music. You don't like sort of the song, like pagan music, whatever. Yeah. Watch what they're trying to show you and watch Luxembourg. And I just feel like you've got two different planes of vision there. I hope that the voting public will also resonate like that. But look, I genuinely, these two are so hard to do.
Yeah, for me, for Luxembourg, I think that Luxembourg and Ireland are going to pull votes away from each other and split it right down the middle.
Yep.
And I think that will result in neither of them qualifying.
Yes.
Because I think that the people...
Very good point.
If you want a good, fun song that's fun and funny, you're going for Malta.
Yeah.
Like, if you want
girly pop, Malta.
If you want girly pop, you're going to Finland. You're going to Denmark. You're going to Malta. Is Malta winning? Maybe. We'll come back to that. But I think that Ireland and Luxembourg are ultimately going to end up splitting that vote between themselves, and I think that Latvia will be the one left standing. Now, when I say this, I say it
with a lot of fear.
I say that Latvia is going to be qualifying by 2 points in 10th position in this semi-final.
But do you know what's crazy about that? Is when it's 100% televote semi-final, Latvia could then pull out a bunch of jury points and do extremely well for itself in the grand final. I'm happy with this.
Yeah.
I think, look, it's made me realize that, yes, there's bias involved in this. Yeah. But at the same time, I just don't have enough faith that Luxembourg or Ireland are going to come to Eurovision with a package that's really going to...
With a package that's compelling enough to really get people off their couch.
And I think Latvia could really stand out if their complete overhaul of the staging is leaning into that mysticism, that fairy glen, that sort of... I think that could really get people voting.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Are we happy with this, Nick? Have we agreed?
I'm happy with this.
Okay, I will say... less confident about this than semi-final one
because for me, I think that Latvia is in exactly the right position where it is at the very bottom of your through, because that is the one that I have the least confidence in that we are right, but that is what I feel in my heart. So I guess then to recap,
who's through? Who's through?
Erika Vikman, Ik Komme for Finland, you're through. Denmark, Sisal's Hallucination, you're through. Claudia with Asteromata for Greece, you're through. Israel, you're through. Czechia, Adonis, Kiss Kiss, Goodbye. Congratulations, you're through. Latvia, you're through. Lithuania, you're through. Austria, you are through. And Malta and Australia, you are both through.
You really dropped off naming the songs by the end.
Yeah, I really did. I ran out of steam. Which means that unfortunately after the semi-final performances on the night, we believe, and that's Eurovision Baby exclusive. He's gone with the finger.
I didn't use my toe this time. I'm sorry.
We will be saying Soz Diva, good night, goodbye, and thank you for all the fish to Ireland, Serbia, Montenegro, which is probably the one that I'm the most heartbroken about.
Yeah.
Georgia, Armenia, and Luxembourg.
I completely agree. So
I do not think that we will be 100% correct.
No,
here.
but if we are, we get paid sponsored tickets to Eurovision next year because we understand the vibe better than anyone.
Yeah, we have the finger of the pulse of Europe, but only like 8 hours time zone difference.
So yeah, what a wild semi-final. Honestly, semi-final one's going to feel like a walk in the park, and then watching this, I am nervous. Yeah. I'm excited.
This is going to be the one that I'm going to be absolutely bricking. Yeah, like to wake up to the results to the morning after, and I'm going to be nervous.
Isn't bricking like?
No, bricking it when you're shitting yourself.
Oh, I thought that's bricked. Sorry. Guys, thank you so much for watching another episode. Let us know what you think of our semi-final qualifying predictions. If you disagree, if you agree.
I am categorically certain that there will be people that will be watching this video that will vehemently disagree.
We know that there's songs that we have not qualified that have massive fans. But again, tell us why. And we're fully cognizant of the fact that songs like Luxembourg and Ireland are probably more surface level appealing. Yeah. And that could be the thing that gets them across the line. Yeah. We know that. Yeah. But we just feel like I'm comfortable with what we're choosing right now. But with that, Nick, closing thoughts.
Well, in the good, the bad, the ups and the downs, the qualifiers and the nots, there will always be dissent in opinion, and we always strongly welcome that on this channel.
That was very sage.
Thank you.
I thought you would do a bit, and then you went really serious suddenly.
No, but we always welcome everyone's feedback. Politely.
We welcome people's nuanced feedback who've employed critical thinking, who touch grass, who kind of are tethered to reality. Yeah. We don't welcome feedback that's just like, we hate you.
Exactly. Like if you're going to be hateful, you're going to get removed. You're very much allowed to completely say that our ideas are crazy and that you don't agree with us. And because you think it's going to be this instead, give us your 10.
Love that.
I'd love to see it. But yes, as always, dissent in opinion is what makes this community slightly chaotic and slightly terrifying, but also so fun. Wonderful. Because you know what? After all,
that's Eurovision, baby.
I thought I was expecting to see that toe.
The toe is not back. Guys, if you like us, if you like what we're giving you, please subscribe. We are now less than a week out from Eurovision, which is crazy. So if you want our reactions to all things Eurovision, you've got a week.
Yeah.
Get subscribing.
Exactly.
Hurry up. Get on it.
Yes, we will still be here for you in the off season as well. We've got some really fun content coming up. We've got some really exciting things to present all the way up to the very day and the day after Eurovision, where we'll be reacting as well. But
well, pending, we might be so hungover we cannot.
Yeah.
And also the Australian time zone makes it hard to make it. But
obviously,
don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, obviously, when Latvia comes through with a
surprise win.
Yeah, with an actual the first ever 1,000-point jury vote.
Mark our words.
Yeah, obviously we'll be too drunk to be on camera the next day.
But we'll keep you updated as always.
Yeah, come along for the journey. Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Come join us on Spotify if you don't want to look at our faces and you just want to hear audio.
You can still look at our faces on Spotify now.
Oh, well, that's good of you, isn't it? That's nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, as always, thank you so much for joining us, guys. We will see you soon.
Next time. Bye.